The bullet ripped through my chest like a freight train derailing in slow motion, and all I could think was how I'd trusted him with every goddamn secret I'd ever whispered in the dark. Ethan, my fiancé, the golden boy with the Wall Street smile and eyes like polished obsidian, had pulled the trigger himself, his face twisted not in rage, but in cold calculation, like he was closing a bad stock trade. I died, choking on my own blood, in that penthouse overlooking Central Park, wondering if love was just another Ponzi scheme. But death isn't the end. It's a shitty reboot. I woke up gasping in my old Brooklyn apartment, the one with the leaky faucet and the view of a brick wall, 3 years earlier, on the exact morning I first crossed paths with that homeless guy on the subway platform. My hands, younger, unscarred, clutched the sheets, and I bolted to the mirror, staring at the face of Lola Harper, 25 and unbroken, before Ethan Carver turned me into collateral damage. Heart pounding like a jackhammer, I laughed, a jagged, hysterical sound that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. This was my shot. Payback. I'd rewrite the script, expose the rot in the Carver empire, and make sure Ethan rotted in a cell instead of a boardroom. But first, I had to play the part. The ambitious paralegal scraping by in the city that chews up dreams and spits out bones. I threw on my thrift store blazer, the one with the frayed cuffs, and grabbed my subway pass. The air outside was crisp, October biting at my cheeks as I hustled down Flatbush Avenue. New York hadn't changed, horns blaring, vendors hawking coffee that tasted like regret, the endless grind of souls hustling for a foothold. But I had. Every step echoed with memories. Ethan's proposal on the High Line, the ring that felt like a noose, the way he'd charmed my doubts away until the night he confessed his father's test, that twisted game where the old man posed as a bum to vet his heir's compassion. I'd failed it, or so Ethan said. Shared my lunch with the wrong stranger, spilled too many beans about the family's dirty laundry during what I thought was a vulnerable moment. Turns out, Daddy Dearest was Elias Carver, the reclusive billionaire who'd faked his death a decade ago to watch his empire from the shadows, testing loyalties like a paranoid king. Ethan killed me to silence the leak, framing it as a botched robbery.
Clean. Corporate.
American as apple pie a la cyanide. The subway rattled into the station, and there he was, Elias, or Old Joe, as the platform rats called him, hunched on a bench, his gray beard matted, eyes sharp under the brim of a filthy Yankees cap. In my first life, I'd barely noticed him until he mumbled about the cold, and I, starving from a 12-hour shift at the firm, split my turkey sandwich without a second thought. That act of kindness? It sealed my fate. Elias had overheard me venting about Ethan's weird family vibes to a coworker on the phone, pieced it together, and confronted Ethan. Junior panicked. Bullet. This time, I wouldn't be the bleeding heart. But I couldn't ghost him entirely. Too suspicious. I approached slow, like I was sizing up a stray dog. Hey, mister. Rough night. My voice was steady, laced with that Brooklyn edge I'd honed over too many bar shifts. He looked up, those piercing blue eyes, mirror images of Ethan's, flicking over me like he was reading a balance sheet. Every night's rough when the world's gone to hell in a handbasket, sweetheart. Gotta smoke. I shook my head, fishing out the sandwich instead. Half-eaten, wrapped in wax paper from the bodega. No cigs, but this might tide you over. Turkey on rye. Don't knock it till you try it. He took it with gnarled hands, peeling back the paper like it was fine china. Generous soul in a selfish city. What's your angle, kid? Nobody gives without wanting something back. No angle, I'd said last time. Bullshit. This time, just paying it forward. Lost my folks young. Know what it's like to go hungry. Partial truth. My mom OD'd when I was 10. Dad bolted for Vegas with a cocktail waitress. Left me with foster scars and a chip on my shoulder the size of the Verrazano. Old Joe grunted, biting into the bread. Crumbs tumbled into his lapel. Smart girl. World's full of wolves in sheep suits. Watch your back. His gaze lingered, probing, like he could smell the lie on me. Or the future. I nodded, boarding the train as the doors hissed shut. My reflection in the grimy window stared back, determined, haunted. Phase 1. Charm the ghost. Get close to Elias without spilling a drop. Then, infiltrate the Carvers. Ethan was already at Yale Law in this timeline, interning summers at his dad's shadowy hedge fund. I'd apply there, leverage my Good Samaritan status. Let the old man pull the strings. By noon, I was at Harper & Klein, the mid-tier firm in Midtown where I'd slaved away pre-Ethan. The partners were sharks in pinstripes, but I was their golden girl, top of my class at Fordham, eidetic memory for case law. Lola, that brief on the merger fraud? Gold. Mr. Klein barked from his glass office, waving me in. I smiled, all teeth, while inside, I plotted how to use it. That merger? It was Carver Capital's dirty secret, the one that tanked my life the first time. Elias's fund had cooked the books, bribed regulators, left thousands of retirees penniless. Ethan knew. Hell, he drafted the cover-up memos. When I dug too deep post-engagement, he silenced me. This round, I'd bury them in their own bullshit. Quitting time hit like a mercy kill. I hit a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, nursing a whiskey neat to steady my nerves. The jukebox wailed Springsteen, all blue-collar anthems about busted dreams. That's when my phone buzzed, a unknown number. Heart slamming, I answered. Lola Harper? This is Elias Carver. Or, as you know me, Old Joe from the F train. Pause, then a chuckle like gravel in a blender. Heard you're looking for summer work. My boy Ethan's firm has an opening. You in? Hook, line, sinker. I'd mentioned the internship hunt to a coworker that morning, casual as hell. Elias moved fast, always did. Mr. Carver? How'd you? Call me Joe. And let's just say, I keep tabs on good eggs. Pick you up tomorrow, 8 sharp. Where something sharp. I hung up, staring at the scarred bar top. The game was on. Revenge tasted like bourbon, burning, promising oblivion for them, not me. The next morning, a black town car idled outside my walk-up, tinted windows swallowing the sun. I slid in, leather seats creaking under me, and there was Elias, not the bum, but the titan. Tailored suit, silver cufflinks glinting like warning signs, face shaved to reveal the jawline that screamed old money. Morning, sunshine. Sleep on that sandwich. I forced a laugh. Best night's rest in months. You clean up nice, Joe. He smirked, pouring coffee from a silver thermos. Appearances, Lola. They're everything in this town. Ethan's waiting at the office. You'll like him. Sharp as a tack, heart of gold under the polish. Bullshit. Ethan's heart was fool's gold, plated over a void. But I played along, peppering Elias with questions about the firm. Innocent stuff, probing for cracks. He dodged like a pro, steering the talk to me. My caseload, my ambitions. Girl like you? Could run the world if you don't let the bastards grind you down. The office loomed on Park Avenue, a glass monolith etched with Carver Capital Partners. Ethan greeted us in the lobby, all 6'2" of Ivy League charm, blonde hair tousled just so, smile that could sell ice to Eskimos. Dad, you didn't tell me you were poaching talent. His handshake lingered, warm, electric. In my gut, revulsion twisted like a knife. Lola Harper, I said, meeting his eyes, blue as his father's, but colder, calculating. Heard great things. We toured the floor, traders barking into headsets, screens flickering with market carnage, assistants scurrying like mice. Elias vanished into a boardroom, leaving me with Ethan for the interview. His office overlooked the avenue. Minimalist, glass desk, single fern, a photo of him and Elias on a yacht, both grinning like they own the sea. So, Dad's new favorite, Ethan teased, leaning back in his chair. What's your poison? Corporate raiding? Hostile takeovers? Justice, I shot back, half joking. Or as close as money allows. He laughed, that rich baritone that once melted me. Idealistic. I like it. Tell me about the sandwich thing. Dad's got a soft spot for strays. I wove the tale. Carefully edited. Hungry girl, kind bum. No mentions of family drama. His eyes lit up, filing away details. Compassionate and cutthroat? You're hired. Lunch was at Le Bernardin, Elias footing the bill, naturally. Seared foie gras, conversations laced with subtext. Elias grilled me on ethics hypotheticals. What if a deal's dirty? Walk or whitewash? I hedged, watching Ethan squirm. He hated loose ends. By dessert, the hook was set. Summer gig locked, invites to the Hamptons flowing. As the car dropped me home, Elias slipped me a card. Call if you need anything. Family now, kid. Family. The words soured in my mouth. I'd infiltrate, gather dirt. The falsified SEC filings, the offshore slush funds, the whistleblower who'd vanished after crossing them. In my first life, that was me. This time, I'd weaponize it. Weeks blurred into a haze of discovery. Mornings at the firm, shadowing Ethan on due diligence, spotting the red flags I'd missed before, the inflated valuations, the ghost subsidiaries. Afternoons, stolen moments with Elias, who insisted on mentoring, walks in Bryant Park. He'd drop crumbs about the empire, how he'd built it from a single real estate flip in the 80s, how Ethan's mother died young, leaving him paranoid about legacy. You're not like the others, Lola, he'd say, feeding pigeons.
No agenda.
Ethan's lucky.
Lucky.
If only he knew. I charmed them both, playing the wide-eyed ingenue while my notebook filled with timestamps, account numbers, encrypted emails I'd hacked from Ethan's desktop. Password was his frat house nickname, Lazy Bastard. But cracks formed. Late nights, Ethan would pull me into supply closets, kisses turning possessive. You're mine now, he'd murmur, hands too tight on my waist. I'd smile, stomach churning, remembering the cold barrel against my temple. One evening, after a gala fundraiser, me in a borrowed gown that pinched like guilt, Elias pulled me aside in the coat room. He's falling hard. Don't break his heart. His eyes searched mine, suspicious now. Had I slipped? Wouldn't dream of it. I lied, clinking champagne flutes. As summer peaked, the heat wave mirrored my rising fever for revenge. I'd compiled enough, terabytes of evidence on a thumb drive hidden in my sock drawer. One leaked to the feds, and Carver Capital crumbled. But timing mattered. Elias's test loomed. He'd drop the bum act fully soon, reveal himself to Ethan as alive, not dead from that yacht accident a decade back. In my timeline, that's when shit hit. Elias confronted Ethan about the merger fraud. Ethan confessed to me in a panic, then silenced us both to protect the throne. This time, I'd flip it. Let Ethan think he won, then gut him from the inside. The Hamptons weekend arrived like a storm front. Elias's estate sprawled on Georgica Pond, shingled mansion, infinity pool bleeding into the Atlantic, staff invisible as ghosts. Ethan and I shared a guest wing, his touches insistent under the stars.
Merime, lo.
After graduation. I hesitated, scripted. Your dad's approval?
He scoffed.
He's a ghost. Been that way since mom. Twist of the knife. Elias watched from afar, binoculars on the veranda, testing. That night, insomnia clawed me awake. I slipped out, wandering the dunes, wind whipping salt into my eyes. Footsteps crunched behind. Elias, in a cashmere robe, pipe smoke trailing like a signal fire. Can't sleep? His voice was soft, paternal. Nightmares, I admitted. Truth serum. He nodded, offering the pipe. About what? Losing everything. Betrayal. I took a puff, coughing. You ever worry about that? With Ethan? His face shadowed. Every day. Boys got my blood. Ambition's a double-edged sword.
Pause.
Heard whispers at the firm. Merger smells off. You see anything?
Bait.
I dangled just enough. Numbers don't add up. But Ethan's clean, right? Elias's jaw tightened. Hope so. For his sake. The seed planted. Paranoia would fester. Back in the city, autumn leaves turned bloody as my plan accelerated. I dated Ethan publicly, red carpets, society pages dubbing us the power couple in waiting. Privately, I mirrored his moves. Charming donors, networking vipers. But I fed Elias doubts, anonymously emailed docs, vague tips from concerned interns. Ethan sensed the shift. Dad's distant. You notice? Parental stuff, I soothed, while inside glee bubbled. November brought the board meeting, the merger vote. I sat in as assistant, transcribing lies. Elias presided via video from abroad, his face pixelated but eyes lasers. When the vote passed, he muted, then unmuted. Hold up. Audit time, gentlemen. Chaos. Accusations flew. Ethan sweated through his Brooks Brothers, glaring at me across the table. Suspect? Post-meeting, he cornered me in the stairwell. What the fuck, Lola? You say something? About what? Innocent blink. His hand shot out, gripping my arm. Bruised territory. Don't play dumb. Dad's gunning for blood. I wrenched free. Fire in my veins. Touch me again and you're done. He backed off, eyes narrowing. Who are you really? The question hung as elevators dinged. War declared. December snow blanketed the city, muffling screams I imagined. Elias summoned me to a safe house in Tribeca. Loft with exposed brick, walls lined with server racks blinking like accusatory eyes. Sit, he commanded, pouring scotch. No bum act now. He was the wolf unveiled. You're in deep, girl. Ethan's unraveling. Confessed to me, cooked the books, siphoned millions. Says you knew.
Lie.
Ethan cornered rat, throwing me under. I didn't. Elias held up a hand. I know. Wired the office. You were clean. He leaned in, breath whiskey sour. But why the push? What's your game?
Truth time.
Or half. Your son killed me, Elias. 3 years from now, in that Park Avenue palace. Bullet to the heart, all to cover his ass. Words tumbled. My death, the frame job, his panic after your reveal. Elias paled, pipe clattering to the floor. Christ. The yacht. I faked it to test him, not this.
Test.
Always a goddamn test. Help me end it. Leak the files. Watch him fall. He stared, weighing empires against blood. And you? What do you get? Justice. Or as close as the city's got. A nod. Alliance forged in shadows. The trap snapped Christmas Eve. Elias lured Ethan to the penthouse. Family reconciliation. I waited in the study, thumb drive plugged into the smart TV, files queued like guillotines. Snow lashed the windows, city lights a distant inferno. Ethan arrived cocky, Armani coat dusted white. Dad?
Lo?
What's the occasion? Elias, gaunt in a velvet smoking jacket, gestured to the screen. Watch. Footage rolled, my death reenactment. No. Hack security cams from the future timeline? No. Simulations I'd coded with a shady IT guy, but close enough. Ethan's face drained. What the fake? Then the real hammer. Merger docs, wire transfers to Cayman shells, emails with his signature. You traitorous shit, Elias growled. I built this for you, and you torch it? Ethan lunged for the drive. I stepped in, taser from my purse crackling. He dropped, twitching. Not so fast, golden boy. Sirens wailed. Elias's call to the feds, timed perfect. As cuffs clicked, Ethan's eyes met mine, betrayal mirroring mine from years past. You bitch.
How?
Trick question, I whispered. I lived it. Twist hit like vertigo. As agents hauled him out, Elias collapsed, clutching his chest. Real this time. Heart attack, the docs said later. Untestable. I rode with him in the ambulance, holding a hand that felt like paper. You got your justice, he rasped. Not without cost. Empire crumbled. Headlines screamed. Carver air indicted. I walked free. Whistleblower, hero. But in the sterile air glow, staring at monitors beeping finality, victory tasted like ash. Months later, spring thawed the city. I stood on that subway platform, sandwich in hand, not sharing, just eating alone. No more tests. No more wolves. But as the train pulled in, a face in the crowd. Familiar, fleeting. Ethan's lawyer? Or a ghost of what-ifs? I boarded, doors sealing my new life. Revenge won. But the scars? They itched eternal. In the end, I didn't marry money. I buried it. And that, in America's cutthroat coliseum, felt like winning. The fallout from Ethan's arrest hit like a Category 5 through Wall Street. By New Year's, Carver Capital was a carcass picked clean. SEC vultures circling, headlines in the Post screaming, "Billionaire Brat's bloody betrayal." I watched from my new one-bedroom in Chelsea, courtesy of a whistleblower fund and a book deal advance. From intern to Avenger, my life in the shadows of empire. Ghostwriter polished it, but the rage was mine, raw and unfiltered. Elias lingered in a private suite at Mount Sinai, machines humming like judgmental overseers. I visited daily, smuggling in pastrami from Katz's, his one vice. Tastes like home. He'd wheeze, eyes crinkling. Home. For him, that was a pre-war brownstone in the village, now dust after the scandal. He'd liquidated assets to pay restitution, donating the rest to victim funds.
Poetic, almost.
The man who'd faked his death to play God now flatlined his legacy for redemption. "You're a natural closer, Lola," he said one gray afternoon, for dripping steady. Ethan never saw it coming. I squeezed his hand, bones fragile as policy memos. Neither did I, first time around. Flashbacks ambushed me there, sterile white triggering the penthouse tile, blood pooling warm. Ethan's voice, post-shot. "Sorry, babe. Business." I gurgled forgiveness, Stockholm deep in my veins. Not this loop. This me was forged in fury, decisions stacking like indictments. Publicly, I was the darling, op-eds in the Times hailing my courageous stand. Privately, nightmares of the barrel's kiss, therapy bills stacking higher than my old rent. Dr. Ramirez, a no-nonsense shrink from Queens, called it temporal dissonance. Fancy for your brain's glitching on two timelines, chica. Sessions blurred, talking cures for a wound time couldn't touch. But life rebooted gritty. I pivoted to nonprofit work, heading a fraudwatch org funded by Elias's scraps. Mornings, depositions with retirees who'd lost nests to the merger scam. Afternoons, media gauntlets, dodging TMZ hacks, sniffing for dirt. Was it love or leverage? They'd leer. I'd flash a smile sharp as a subpoena. Both. And neither. Ethan's trial loomed in federal court, Manhattan stone halls echoing my vendetta. I testified second week, suit-pressed hair in a bun like armor. The room reeked of old wood and older grudges, prosecutors in rumpled brooks, defense sharks circling with motions to suppress. Your Honor, the ADA started all fire. Ms. Harper will detail the defendant's pattern of deception. I took the stand, eyes locking on Ethan across the well. He looked diminished, orange jumpsuit swallowing his frame, hair unkempt, that charm curdled to sneer. Our gazes clashed, his whispered, whore, barely audible over the stenographer's clack. "Miss Harper," the prosecutor prompted, "walk us through your relationship with the defendant." Deep breath. Ethan Carver was my fiancé. Charming, ambitious. But beneath? A liar who murdered trust, and nearly me for profit. Objection from defense. Speculation. Sustained. I reeled it in, sticking to facts. The emails, the ledgers, my disappearance, plot he'd confessed in a bugged call, Elias's final gift. Cross-exam was a blood sport. His lawyer, a silver fox named Hargrove, paced like a panther. "Ms. Harper, you admit to romantic entanglement. Jealousy, perhaps? Motive to fabricate?"
No, sir.
Motive was survival. I leaned forward, voice steady. He pulled a gun on me once, in jest. Said it'd be easy to make it real, if I ever crossed him. Gasps rippled. Jury leaned in, 12 New Yorkers, diverse as a bodega shelf, faces hardening. Hargrove pivoted. "And Mr. Carver's father? The reclusive billionaire? Isn't this a family feud you're exploiting?" "Elias Carver is a victim too," I countered. "He lost a son to greed. I lost my life once." The bench banged for order. Outside, reporters swarmed. I slipped through a side door, nausea churning. Testimony as catharsis? More like ripping scabs. That night, a package waited at my door. No sender, just a manila envelope thick as regret. Inside, photos. Me and Ethan, intimate shots from the Hamptons. Grainy, but unmistakable. Tuck note. Drop it, or these go viral.
E.
Blackmail. Classic Carver. I burned them in the sink, flames licking like tiny executions. But the seed of doubt sprouted. Had I missed allies? Enemies in the shadows? Elias worsened. Hospice talk surfaced. I pushed back, smuggling experimental meds from a contact at Sloan Kettering. Fight, old man. I'd urge. Your test isn't over. He'd chuckle, weak. Passed it with you, kid. Ethan's the failure. Trial dragged into spring. Evidence mounting like snowdrifts. Forensic accounting. Witness flips from the firm. Ethan's defense crumbled. Hargrove reduced to youthful indiscretion, please. Bullshit. The kid was 28, old enough for mens rea. Crescendo hit on closing arguments. ADA painted Ethan as Icarus, wings melted by hubris. Defense? Victim of pressures. Jury deliberated 2 days. Eternity in purgatory. Verdict: guilty. All counts: fraud, conspiracy, attempted murder. Sentence: 25 to life, no parole. Ethan stood, chains rattling, eyes dead on mine as the gavel fell. This isn't over, Lola. In the gallery, I exhaled, first real breath since the bullet. Cameras flashed. I waved them off, hailing a cab to Elias's bedside. He watched the news on a tablet, oxygen mask fogging. Poetic justice. Damn right. I sat, holding his hand. Rest now.
He didn't.
Pneumonia took him that night, quiet as a market crash. Funeral was small, me, a rabbi, handful of ghosts from the old firm. Epitaph. Builder.
Tester.
Human. I scattered ashes off Coney Island, waves claiming what the city couldn't. Grief hit post-burial, a freight train delayed. I holed up, whiskey my companion, replaying timelines. What if I'd never shared that sandwich? Never met the wolf pack? But regrets were luxuries. I had work. The org thrived, Lola Harper Foundation, exposing white-collar wolves. Speaking gigs rolled in, TED Talks on resilience, panels with AOC types railing against inequality. I dated a barista named Marco, tattoos and easy laughs. No empires, just espresso and honesty. But shadows lingered. Anonymous tips, Ethan's appeals, whispers of a hit from inside. Paranoia, Dr. Ramirez said. Or prescience. Summer solstice, I returned to the platform, anniversary of the reboot. Train rumbled in, no old Joe. Just commuters, faces blurred. I boarded, settling into a seat, when my phone buzzed. Unknown. Sandwich saved me. Watch your back. A friend. Chills. Elias? Ghost in the machine? Or, twist sharper, a daughter? Elias's will dropped bombshells. Unmentioned heir, hidden in plain sight. Ethan had a sister, abandoned at birth, now circling for scraps. The game rebooted. Again. I pocketed the phone, staring at the tunnel black. New York's underbelly never slept. Neither would I. Vengeance wasn't a finish line. It was the track. And I was lapping them all. The friend's text gnawed like a bad investment, but I buried it under deadlines. The Foundation's first gala loomed, black tie affair at the Met, donors in tuxes thicker than their portfolios. I played host in a crimson gown that hugged like ambition, schmoozing senators and CEOs who'd once golfed with Elias. To the fallen, they toast, eyes sliding over me like I was the exhibit. Marco was my anchor, tall, inked arms wrapping me post-event, his laugh chasing shadows. Your force low, but ease up, world's not ending tonight. If only. Sex with him was uncomplicated, tattoos tracing hip bones, no strings beyond breakfast burritos. But trust? That muscle atrophied post-Ethan. I'd wake at 3 a.m., checking locks, scanning for tails. The will reading shattered complacency. Elias's lawyer, A tweed fossil named Pendleton summoned me to his mahogany den on Madison. Ms. Harper, Elias amended post-illness. Your executrix, Foundation gets the bulk. But there's complications. Complications. Elena Carver, 32, born out of wedlock to a vineyard housekeeper. DNA confirmed. Elias knew, paid hush money, but never claimed. Now, with the Empire ash, she surfaced, red hair like autumn fire, lawyer in Louboutins, eyes hungry as Ethan's. Brother's rot doesn't taint me, she declared over coffee in Pendleton's antechamber, voice silk over steel. I want in board seat, equity stake. I sized her up, poised, pedigreed, but the tremor in her manicure betrayed nerves. Elias tested everyone. You pass. Her laugh tinkled. Failed spectacularly, grew up on food stamps while he added. But blood's blood. Alliance or ambush. I greenlit a probationary role. Smart play. Keep enemies closer. Elena dove in. Charm offensive. Revamping our website. Wooing tech bros for crypto fraud alerts. Nights. We'd debrief over Pinot at my place. Marco tactfully absent. You're good at this. I admitted one evening, city skyline winking beyond the balcony. Hiding the hurt. She swirled her glass. Practice. Dad's ghost, literally, left scars. You? Ethan's bullet. Not literal, but close. I spilled fragments. The reboot, the rage. Her eyes widened, not skeptical, but knowing.
Trùng sinh vài bét si mu mút.
Reborn to burn it down. Respect. Bond formed, fragile as rice paper. But doubts festered. Anonymous texts escalated. Sisters playing you.
They deeper.
I did. Hired a PI. Ex-NYPD with a nose for lies. Report landed mid-autumn. Elena's trail murky. Post-college dropout. She'd bounced gigs, bartending in Boston, consulting in D.C. Ties to a fixer named Rocco, low-rent muscle with mob whispers. And a wire transfer from Ethan's commissary account? Confrontation brewed at our Harvest fundraiser, Harvest Moon Fat over the Hudson. Elena in emerald silk, speechifying on Legacy's double edge. Crowd ate it. I seethed, slipping her a note mid-mingle. Balcony. Now. Wind whipped the terrace, fairy lights mocking. What's the play, Elena? Relay for Ethan? She lit a cigarette. Elias's habit. Exhaling slow. Paranoid much? Brother's rotting. I want what's mine. PI says otherwise. Rocco. Transfers.
Spill.
Her face crumpled. Not crocodile. Genuine. Rocco's and ex-old debts. Ethan's. Reaching from Sing Sing, yeah. Bribed a guard for contact. Wants me to torpedo the foundation. Sue for defamation. Tied in appeals. Why tell me? Because fuck him. And you? You're the real deal. Reborn badass. She stubbed the cig, eyes fierce. Help me bury the bastard for good? Twist within twist. I nodded. Packed sealed in smoke. Plan. Feed Ethan false leads. Record the calls. Elena wired up, playing double agent. First contact hit like junk mail. Ethan's voice, tinny through jail lines. Sis, she's poison. Frame her, planted evidence bullshit. Elena, voice honeyed. Got dirt. But need incentive, offshore cut.
Done.
Wires coming. We hung up, adrenaline surging. Got him, I whispered, hitting save. Feds salivated when I dropped the tape. Conspiracy add-on, appeal crushed. But karma's a bitch with receipts. Post-sting, Elena confessed more. Elias's abandonment fueled her rage, but therapy flipped it. You're my reset low. Like your do-over. Do-over. Words stuck, mirroring my glitch. We hugged, sisters not by blood, but vendetta. Winter bit hard, holidays hollow. Marco proposed over lax, simple ring, diner booth. No tests, just us. I said yes, tears real. Wedding small, city hall, Elena as witness, snow confetti. Vows echoed my reboot. In this life and whatever comes. But peace fractured spring. A package That sandwich wrapper from the platform, preserved like relic, note scrawled. You shared with the wrong man. Payback's a circle. The real ghost. Chills. Not Ethan. Voice analysis said solo. PI traced paper to a psych ward alias. Elias's old rival? Or my mind-fracturing timelines? Elena and I dug. Old files revealed Elias's pre-fake death enemy, Victor Hale, hedge fund pirate who'd lost billions to a Carver short. Hale died in a crash same year, but whispers of plastic surgery. New identity. Living as Old Joe?
No.
Deeper. Hale had a protege, me?
No. Impossible.
My foster record's clean, but a sealed file. Mom's OD? Assisted. Dad's Vegas bolt. Paid exit. Horror dawned. Elias? He'd groomed me from afar, scholarships, anonymous job tips. The sandwich? Staged encounter, testing not just Ethan, but me as the wild card heir. Twist gutted. I was the secret carver. DNA in the will, pending, but whispers confirmed. Reborn not by fate, but Elias's tech, experimental neural upload, his legacy insurance. I died, yes, but he'd pulled my consciousness back into my younger self to fix his mess.
Why?
I screamed at Elena in the loft, rain lashing like accusations. Control, she sobbed. He wanted puppets. We broke the strings. Rage boiled, new target. The truth. I leaked it all. Elias's God complex, the reboot Black Ops scandals reignited, Foundation rebranded truth over empire. Marco held me through nights, his steadiness my north. Whatever you are, Harper, Carver, you're mine. Summer solstice again. Platform empty. I tossed the wrapper into the tracks, train swallowing it whole. No more ghosts. But as doors closed, a reflection flickered, not mine. Ethan's eyes, pleading from a glass? Hallucination or warning? The circle tightened. Payback eternal. The reboot revelation cracked my world like a Lehman default, shards embedding deep. DNA results confirmed. 99.9% Carver. Elias's bastard from a 90s indiscretion with my mom, the housekeeper cover story. He'd watched from afar, nudging my path, the Fordham scholarship, the firm internship tip via a random connection. The sandwich? Orchestrated, his bum guy's allure to gauge my compassion quotient, prime me as the clean slate heir. Why me? I'd railed at Elena over midnight takeout, boxes greasy as betrayal. Ethan was the golden boy. Too tarnished, she said, chopsticks poised. You? Untouched. His neural net voodoo, some DARPA leftover, zapped your mind back when he saw the merger unraveling. Insurance policy. The tech, black budget AI, consciousness transfer into a backup body, my past self, pre-trauma. Elias died knowing, his final whisper to the lawyer. Tell her when ready. Ready? I'd never be. Fallout cascaded. Press frenzy dubbed me the reborn heiress, tabloids twisting Trung Sin into sci-fi schlock. I lawyered up, Pendleton spinning NDAs like cotton candy. Foundation board panicked. Blood ties taint the mission. But Elena rallied. We're the mission. Flawed as fuck, but fighting. Marco adapted, his barista calm a bomb. Cyborg or not your Lola. My Lola. We honeymooned in the Keys. Beaches white as absolution, no signals, just conch shells and salt air. Sex under palms, lazy and loving, chased ghosts for a week. Back in the fray, I weaponized truth. Memoir sequel, Ghost in the Machine, How a Billionaire Hacked My Soul. Bestseller, Proceeds to Ethics AI Research, Ironic Fencing. Speaking tours amped, Davos panels on Legacy's dark code, rubbing elbows with Zucks and Bezoses, all eyeing me like a glitchy oracle. But Ethan stirred from his cage. Appeal hearing loomed, new counsel alleging tampered evidence, pointing at my anomalous testimony, the impossible details only a time traveler could know. Subpoena hit, psych eval under oath. Courtroom redux but flipped. I sat witness box, Dr. Ramirez beside as expert. Ethan's new shark, a Botox barracuda named Lyle, prowled. Ms. Harper, or should I say Carver, you claim a reincarnation? Neural upload? Sounds like delusion, no? Ramirez interjected. Established science, counselor. DARPA trials documented. Exhibits, redacted files, Elias's codicil admitting the hack. Lyle smirked. And your memories of future events? Convenient for perjury. Not perjury. Precision. I locked on Ethan, pale behind plexi. You shot me December 15th, 2028, 11:47 p.m. Beretta 92 FS, hollow points. Framed as robbery. Your prints wiped, but the safe's RFID logged your exit.
Gasps.
Ethan's face ashen. How? Because I'd lived it. Bullets echo in my bones. Jury murmured. Judge called recess. Verdict. Appeal denied. Ethan transferred to Supermax upstate. Isolation his new empire. Last glimpse him mouthing monster. But mirror cracked. We both were. Post-trial, Elena and I rebuilt. Foundation morphed. Carver Legacy Project. Auditing the ultra-rich, neural ethics wing probing mind hacks. We clashed, her flashy fundraisers versus my gritty street audits, but balanced, Enyong Daughters of Dust. Marco quit the cafe, joining as ops manager, tattooed muscle in boardrooms, charming funders over IPA. Baby talk surfaced. IVF consults, timelines syncing with my reset. A mini reboot, he'd joke. I laughed, terror undercurrent. What if the kid inherited glitches? Winter solstice, 3rd anniversary of the shot that wasn't. I stood penthouse balcony. Elias's old haunt, now mine by bequest. City sprawled, lights defiant. Elena joined, mulled wine steaming. Full circle? Not yet. I raised glass. To unfinished business. Spring unearthed the last ghost. Victor Hale, alive as Vincent Hall, nursing home in Florida. PI photos. Withered, oxygen tank his scepter. I flew down, confronting in a sunroom smelling of Bengali and regret. You, he wheezed, eyes milky but sharp. Elias's pet project. His pawn. You Hale, rival turned specter. The texts.
Petty.
Wanted you paranoid, like him. Cough rackled. He ruined me 98. Short-sold my fun to rubble. Faked my death for revenge. Bum on platforms, eavesdropping your tests. Layers peeled. Hale as counterbum, shadowing Elias's games. My sandwich? Shared with dual devils unwittingly. Why confess?
Boredom.
And absolution. He grinned, toothless. Tell Elias's ghost, draw. I left, reporting to Elena. Circle closed. Summer peaked in fire. Foundation expose dropped. Neural tech black market. Tycoons hacking heirs. Congress hearings followed. I testified. Voice thunder. God complexes kill. Regulate or repeat. Bills passed, named Harper Carver Act. Victory lap. Gala at the Met Redux. Marco's hand in mine. Elena toasting sisters in code. But high tide recedes. False skin detected anomaly. Neural echo. Elias's upload lingering like malware. Dr. Ramirez. Fragment. His voice. Purge or integrate. I chose purge. Surgery under fluorescence. Monitors beeping like heartbeats. Woke groggy. Marco vigilant. Clean? Clean. But in dreams, Elias whispered. Good girl. Legacy lives. Awake, I built anyway. Foundation Global now, branches in London, Singapore, auditing empires. Elena ran ops. Marco. Family. Pregnancy test positive. Tiny heartbeat, no glitches. Solstice Eve. Platform pilgrimage. Train roared. I boarded alone. Reflection hole. No rappers, no notes. Just Lola. Harper. Carver, reborn. Text buzzed. Marco. Home soon? Craving turkey on rye. Laughter bubbled. Pure. I shared that life, not sandwiches with strangers. In America's arena, we'd all been gladiators, betrayed, rebooted, vengeful. But mercy? That was the real twist. I chose it, scars and all. And damn if it didn't feel like empire.